Before we continue, Yutzar Lashabat Hagadul, inclining for a sunset of Friday to a sunset of Saturday. That's extraordinary. We think of how some commandments are within other commandments. We remember the conditions by which the Jewish people were conquered in 135, and the territory of Palestine was historically established. We think of how the presence of animals gives us opportunity and teaches us lessons. We think of how people have long read to honor the dead, and how weaving plays such an important aspect for so many cultures. It's essentially the symbol of the left-hand path. Alhi Harutchut Lakol Bashur Chuk Lamu Masur Wah Zahyarm Baktub Musur Libduk Chamatz Our Larbah Asher Bashah Shane Bani Adam Matswiyam Bashuka Wawr Hagar Yapa Labdika Ain Bu Dakin La Lar Hachma Wala Lar Halbana Wala Lar Habuka Watsrik Labrak Al Bauer Chamatz Kachka. My God knows the spirits of the living beings and transmits a decree to those who join the people and caution them in Scripture, whose explanation is transmitted to the sages, in search for the bread on the evening of the 14th of the first month. The time is when the people are not in the market, and candlelight is the best way to search. One should not search by the sun, moon, or torch. One must recite a blessing concerning the removal of the leavened. Gabur Mantra Ad Debtura Wamid Tazrik Labthol Hashar Bamira Walima Hakiko Chamira Daka Bahda Dira Dala Chamitya Wadla Bauratya Labthol Walhawi Kapra Day Mashtakach Lachur Auta Shah Anu Chib Babo Yara Wabo Yamtsa Lapshah Wahrutsa Achur Badiktu Lakul Chamatz Wal Shab'ah Ma Shamshir Yanichanu Batsnah Hika Dambaduk Baturi Bita Wahnich Arba Au Chamash Rapta Washkuch Dutchda Manihu Pachta Labduk Marisha Shema Sholda Lakchata Wakan Tanu Rabnan Bapraktin Dachuri Bita Wankitin Al-A Wate Anan Nabdaktin Wamtazaim Zakotin Zahru Gug Hitzya Wagug Magdalene Warput Bakar Wamtaban Walulin Wautazrut Yayan Washman Han Aulin Labduk Chamatz Bali Aulin Chor Shabin Adam Lachbru Zah Wazah Budak Ad Shumya Wambathal Sharu Wakan Bin Yahudi Wawbud Kukabim Chib Labaru Palimu Makal Shema Yamur Halbud Kukbim Kashpu Wachbru Thanu Hamparsh Wahutza Bashira Wain Datu Kodum Pasach Lachazra Tuk Sholshim Yum Bai Labar Chimira Lapni Sholshim Yum Ain Zakuk Labara Yashral Richmats At Pakad Lih Walitia Lamrih Lam Shakli Nathra Ad Arba Dutch Z Lakla Sholim Arba Wala Ata Lankri Mazbin Lih Kashnapla Mapulat Al Chamatz Barabi Paschim Waklab Ain Yakul Lachpush Atriu Bathuchim Hari Hawa Bam Bawar Varaim Pakchim Wakma Chapishat Haklab Sholsha Thupchim Lamdu Bi Malchi Wabi Qiri Nakobim Wabi Tamrim Watsibim Labduk Autum Chibim Yutzar Pathura Mapni ha-warbim mutza chamatz bupsuch batuk bitu kupa alyu kali bali dautu wamshol hakdash hawa ein tarik laksutu lapi shabdolin mautu napi wapthili wi wara dash tumash bahu chamin chamira tazrik lag'alinu lag'al-yinhu winich bangu rabba zayura walrabba labad gadnapa wal rutchiyah banura sakini dash tumash bahu chamira laruhin am apshur la shutan chadshim hum mashbutchin way la mugayiln berutchin wubkli rashun hum matschetschin watts perur mugaylan berutchin andu agni wakats yai dakunya wapchra af-al gub dum pleth lahu shapir lash tamushi bahu asira waf al-gub derwihan waka lamimer dashlith bahu awira apilu haki kima asura. And we are going through the alphabet here. We see AI is the only one here. And what we're going into is a summary of the Passover laws. When it's complete, one should guard what he found till the next day, and immediately destroy the remaining leaven with a declaration and say as follows: any leavened that's in the dwelling, I didn't see and didn't remove, and hereby I nullify it, and it becomes like dust. Now, traditions have remained about leaving some on purpose so that you can destroy something, but it's much, much better to give away than to destroy. According, if it's found after the time, one won't have willfully transgressed the prohibitions about the leavened, and may it neither be seen nor found. One who wishes to eat the fill of the leavened after the search should hide what has been set aside for that purpose. In the event that one has searched the holes of the house and has set aside 4 or 5 pieces of bread and found that one of them is missing, he must search anew in case a vermin has moved it from its original place, and thus did the rabbis teach the chapter about the holes and the crevices in the house that are too high or too low for convenient use. They don't need to be searched, but those between require it. And they cautioned that the slanting roof of a porch or a tower, the cattle stall, the bedding storage, the coops, the locked pantries of the wine or the oil don't require one to climb and search them. Well, if you're keeping everything in separate groups, but a hole between the property of someone and the neighbor, each one searches as far as he can reach and ignores the rest. Similarly, in the space between a Jew and a non-Jew, there must be searching and nullifying. Plimo said that, had a lenient opinion in the case because the non-Jew might suspect the Jew of sorcery and injure him. Well, more like peeping or stealing or something, but, because reaching in a hole in between the properties and all that stuff. Or if you are putting things underneath somebody's fence, that could be as a spell, whatever. The sages debated and ruled that someone who goes to sea or another journey and doesn't intend to return home before the passing over, if it's within 30 days, he must remove it. But if it's more than 30 days, he doesn't need to remove it. A Jew who has leavening and it's been left for safekeeping and the owner isn't present to claim it, he must hold it until the 4th hour of the ever of hopping over, when it may be eaten. But if the owner hasn't come after the 4th hour, he should sell it to a non-Jew. If there was a cave in top, if there was a cave above leavened on the Erev Pesach, and it's certain that a dog can't uncover it, then the wise, united sages consider it as if removed. In the Islamic tradition, I'm suspect of all the sheikhs agree stuff. I'm even more suspicious of it considering what I know about the Talmud and stuff. And until the depth can be dug and a dog uncovers until 3 handbreadths, they taught that the place is known as salt storage, candle storage, date and wood storage must be searched, but a courtyard is exempt because ravens eat the leavened. One finds, other birds too, one finds the leavened in his home during the Passover, should cover it with a vessel so that it will not be seen. But if it belongs to the sanctuary, it doesn't need to be covered because people stay away from it. Iron strainers, iron baskets and pots used with hot leavened, one must render them set apart in boiling water by placing them in a large pot to make it set apart. One should build a clay border over its rain. Okay, what word are we using for koshering? I don't see our modern. And to cook it over a flame. Knives that were used with the leavened meals, it's best to make them like new. They run them over the fire. But if not, they may be set apart with boiling water. And a vessel, once removed from the fire, becomes acceptable, and a wooden spoon, too, may be put in boiling water to set it apart. And they crowned us with the teaching about the earthenware and the glazed earthenware. Even though one has set them apart thoroughly, it's forbidden to use them, even though they are so wide that air would prevent the leaven from entering the pores. Nevertheless, they're not allowed. Pachur qadrut ein tazrik laplecha abo mashhi lih ad batur pacha wak arut matrut ki shakil maduda alihu lancha waburami ragula shireen bahdacha tazai dam shahi bahu chamira bashar yumi kabit shower shuch mutsu kasha demi way akray au tibih wala ashtahi amya lash tamushi bahu shapir demi kathuf biyan washman abidin mo milash bahu lili qamay qabdin wamhan dala sabilan wabadin wala lamilsh bahu hawa hadin raqiqi matsut awshin zakar lagun wal shaman tazrik lashmern machmuts kahgun wachrush shutha wakthan ain lashin dolma yashgun af al-gub dapya yashral per dahla yan hagun shanu shain lashin babat achat lam Allah machmashat rubayam qamach wakan lachla wahan bitsim kamnin chala wah almer mukach lah wahasha la talush Allah bamim shonu halila tamimim shanu bamshana hamhala mi tashmishu shol nachtum yashpaku mapni shumchamitsin salah wamrinan Shadi lahu bamqum mudern dala liti bahu lidi takla tamu ho kun baur wahag Allah. And we no longer follow the alphabet here. Y, W, to give English letters, Y, W, S, S, H, P, H, Q, T, H, N, B, R, S, H, M, W, A, L, C, H, Z, Q, C, H. And it's that the last line starts with the wow. Okay. Yiyun ki yit adam lamitzwa hawa makdam latzat bu chubat yadi adam am ein kundithun wam bashal nagdam warbah kusut halu tazrik shiha bahan kadi rabi ait bali yaklu atchad anshim wachad nashim alu kalu wam shulkin latinukut kaliwat waguzin kadi shish alu sachu shah nashim tazrikut lamatza bakol mili rapsacha bali shamtza af al gab damatsut asha shahzaman burma bumla namtsa shukal shishnu babol takal chamatz yashnu bakum akul matza parshu bushpa nadiba matza wiyan tazrik hasbah marur ein bu kan chuba wambai lih laksakusi thuba hasbat yamin hasbah Eina wallah aud Allah shema yakdim qana lushath wiba lidi sakna parkdan la man chushpana washa Eina Tazrika wam chathuba hiya naduna kami ab masab haban beditza tolmid bapni rabu ein rawi lapratza abo bashulia dunguri tazrik lahasab bamrutza washamash, shakel, kazit, matzah, kashwa, masab, yatzah, thanu, lechithuth, matzah, balili, paschim, kadi, shalah, yishnu, haprachim, wachibim, kurgol, lahiut, shamchim, bamqadash, bamshur, washata, biyan, rakuchim, nashim, chibut, rashmut, walhernin, babol, bamgadi, tazaunin, bartz, yishral, bamgadi, pashtun, hamlabnin, wa'anchim, biyan, mat'adnin, barab, hapsach, samuk, lamnachat, rashun, la, yakal, adam, ad, hashun. The earthenware doesn't need to be broken, but they must be set aside until after the Passover. Dishes are allowed if one pours water from a pot resting on a fire, and the stoneware is permissible upon washing. The dishes used for sourdough all year are like a utensil in which sourdough is soaked, which has a lot of the leaven. But if the sourdough was put on the dish only every so often, it's proper to use it. The smearing of the unleavened with wine or oil is allowed, but it's to be avoided on the first nights. The maids and the slaves who were not converted by baptism, the law is that they shouldn't need the unleavened. Unleavened cakes are made in memory of the bondage, while the ancient Egyptians would make sun bread for their festivals. They just have grain, oil, honey, that sort of thing. But they must be guarded against the leavened for the sake of the unleavened. A deaf mute, a retard, and a child shouldn't need, because they may not be careful. Even though an adult does the baking, it isn't customary to do it. They taught that at one time one doesn't need anymore. Then 5 logs of flour, the same amount that obliges one to take a woven bread. That means a volume of eggs equal to the number value of the challah. So a 43 egg bread, that's pretty big, right? The omer, well, the measure of the standard for the woven bread, and a woman should knead only with water that which has been left overnight. In perfection, the sages taught in the lauded explanation, water that a baker used to cool the hands is poured out because it becomes like the leavened. And they say it should be poured down a slope so that it shouldn't collect and cause a mishav. What is that? And this ends with the laws of removing of removing and setting apart. So, Hagala, is that the word for koshering? Oh, what exactly does that mean? Ga La. Oh, so it gapes it? This is it? Don't know exactly. So this starts the portion that we're not going by the alphabetical order, but we already went over what that order is. The pressed juice that's read has preference for the ordered commandment for a person to carry out their duty. If it's not available, spiced and cooked are accepted. The 4 cups must contain riva'is each without leniency. So 4 cups of alcohol, even for the children, is the Jewish law. There's legal issues at the very least if you're not concerned about the health issues there. Men and women have the same requirement. The roasted kernels and nuts are distributed to children so that they'll ask. The scholars said that the women must make efforts themselves in all manners of the passing over without blushing, even though the timed positive commandments generally don't apply to them, because anyone obliged not to eat the leavened is included in the positive categories of eating the unleavened. The sages explained with their gifted speech that the unleavened and the pressed juice requires reclining when being eaten. Now, the only reason why a person should lay on their left side is they've overeaten or something's wrong with their stomach or something like that, because that raises the blood pressure. But it's not a healthy position to eat from. So if you recline on the right side, that would be better. But the maror doesn't have the obligation, and it must be well chewed, and recline on the right side isn't proper. Moreover, one's windpipe may swallow before the esophagus and endanger his life. Don't overeat so that you have to lay on your left side because your stomach's too full and you want the, stomach acid or something like that. In Islam, for example, one of the forbidden positions is the laying on your left side with your right hand propped up. With on your left side with your head propped up and that sort of stuff. And also standing with your hands on your hip and the interlacing of the fingers. Psychologically, if you point them out, you're hiding stuff from other people, you're hiding stuff from yourself for the other, and there's the invoking of curses upon oneself with that position. So, but that's not all that is related, but certainly the reclining part. Reclining on the back isn't considered. A woman doesn't require reclining, but if she is elite, it's thought that it's required of her. Before a father, a son may recline alacritously. A student for the teacher may not violate propriety, but a carpenter's apprentice must recline without hesitation, and a servant who eats the amount of an olive of the unleavened as he reclines has fulfilled the obligation. So lift up and remove the tray of the unleavened on the nights of Passover, so that the little children will not fall asleep. Now, some say it's 1 night and 2 nights to make sure you got it on the right night, but if you're following the moon sighting of the crescent moon starts the month, whenever that comes, you've actually fulfilled the commandment. So that the little children won't fall asleep. All must be joyous on the pilgrimage festival, and the sanctuary was this way through sacrificial meal because you make grain offerings. And now with the spiced pressed juice, and in the land of Israel, with the bleached linen, and men take delight in new wine. It's good to have a new garment for the holidays. If you're going to have a new garment any time of year, the holidays. On the Passover, near the time of the mincha preceding the first order, a person may no longer eat until dark. And wabau mabit rich shun muzgin lu kus rashun mabruk al hian watcher kuk kadush wazman leinu almurnas adian shutsrik lamru bagda warawi lakpol ain washti wamshi yadya wainu mabruk al nathilat yadyam shakol gargira au karpasa au kasberta au chatsa weithbol bachrusat weberk bura pari hadma wakad akol yatsa achat mashlush batsut wain berka amma matsa bakara wamchatsa bashlachan lahashima mushuk makara shani tamshili danun bashra wakura tazlili a nami gurma wamshuli wamqabya kara walima ha lachma anya kolya wamuzqim lukus shani marbat hal wakan haban mabu shwal mah nashtana malilut zahlil wagumer hagda ad gal yashral achur dashti mashi yada wamberk al nathilat yadim lahudya washri hamutzya al hashlama dalwi turti didya wala akil manya akti madi lokach perusa wumkirk lakul matsa bamlo wabhadi dahya dahmutsya Alkul Wabulol Wamberk But Zeret Lakul Merur Wathubal Wabulol Wahder Akil Matzah Wamur Bala Barka Wakurkan Babat Achat Kahlol Chalif Lakma Bati Wabid Ki Hay Guna Ad Hakka Wachad Kek Aushim Saudatan Kol Tazraka Wakzit Matzah Hachruna Tazrikin Lakuraka Wanuthlin Wala Habrakin Shamim Achrunim Chuba Wain Thaunin Burka Zukur Bashlishi Burkut Mizunu Walshar Habtim Techla Wathwam Hakus Ad Mashlu Enu Wabrubiyai Halal Matsri Latnu Bol Yatham Kolum Beish Wanu Kam'a'a Lashtut Mim Yaknas Chula Hwa Au Asthanas Wab'ai Lamshati Chumra Mashum Aunas Lumur Bajmishi Halal Hagdul Yashtanas Chasol Siddur Pasach Kahlaktu Kakal Mashpathu Wachkatu Kasher Zakinu Lasdur Autukan Nazka Lashutu Zakshukan Mauna Kumam Qahal Adatmi Mana Bakrub Nahol Nathai Kana Padwim Letsyun Berna Wubkun Wolk Tala Qadsha Bi Ata Qadush Yashral Wamushya. And then the congregation repeats Wamkan Wolk Tala Qadsha Kiyata Qadush Yashral Wamushya. And when there's the returning from the prayer place, they pour him a cup, and he pronounces the blessing over the pressed juice, then the Kiddush and the Sheh Etcheyanu, but he doesn't recite a blessing for the miracle yet, because until he discusses it in the Haggadah, it isn't proper to repeat it, and he drinks from the cup and washes his hands, but doesn't recite the blessing about the washing the hands, and he takes the root vegetable, the different leaved vegetables, and horseradish, cress, parsley, coriander, horseradish. I think you can use some substitutions with that, but and dips it in the chorosis and makes the blessing, who created the fruit from the ground, and after dividing into 3 pieces of leavened without a blessing, and after eating it, and then half goes back to the order plate and half is on the table. Kind of like the Nowruz ceremonies with the 7 foods. But we don't have as many here. And he removes the 2 dishes from the Seder plate, which are the roasted meat and fish, are one with roasted meat and another of cooked meat. And then he lifted the plate to the order and says the whole text of "This is the bread of affliction" is at the 50th portion of the tonic or something like that. They pour him the second of the 4 cups, and the child asks the father, "How is this night different than other nights?" And he concludes the Haggadah with "Who redeemed the upright of God?" And after drinking, he washes his hands and recites only the blessing about washing the hands for the hamotzi. He breaks the whole of the unleavened that is atop the other 2, but he doesn't eat from it yet, and he takes the broken piece and recites to eat the unleavened, and with the unleavened of hamotzi, he eats them together over the lettuce. He blesses to eat the maror, the bitter herb, is that what that means? And dips it thoroughly and eats, and then he eats the unleavened and the bitter herb without a blessing, and wraps them together as Rabbi Hillel did, and then he may go about to as many houses to perform this at this point for the people who haven't learned. Start with your family, and then maybe you can do charity by leading people in extra prayer, right? And then they have their full meal, but they must eat an olive's amount of the unleavened at the end. And then they wash their hands without the blessing, because the final water is required but doesn't call for blessing. Upon the 3rd cup, he says the blessing for the meal, but should do for before he goes to the other houses. However, he doesn't drink the 3rd cup until he returns to his own home. And with the 4th cup, he recites the Halal, which is so many of the Psalms have that word, which doesn't mean the devil, even though it's translated as Lucifer. That's a sarcastic reference in Isaiah 14. In honor of the miracles in Egypt, and may no longer taste the food that night, and he may go to drink a bit of the water, but if he is ill or delicate and only able to drink the pressed juice, he may exert himself and recite the great Hallel, Psalm 136, over a 5th cup. The order of the Passover is now concluded in accordance with its laws, with all its orders and statutes, just as we were privileged to arrange it, so we may merit to perform it. O pure one who dwells on high, raise up the countless congregation soon, and guide the offshoots of your plants that are redeemed 2, the place set apart with glad song, and then the congregation follows the reader after he says, so this line is repeated. So now the sanctification prayer will ascend to you, for you're the Holy One and the Savior of those who strive for God. So the Mujahideen, basically.